Breaker 19, this here's a squat shot of that one Bigfoot truck in Bakersfield, California. I'm loaded up in trucking. Look out below, 'cause here we go. Alrighty, sorry about that, guys. Hopefully I won't go off the road here. There we go. Had somebody ring the doorbell, and that doesn't happen too often around here. You know, I'm a hermit. So I figured I'd better ought to check and see if it was something important. And it was not, quite honestly. It was not. I'm sure it was important to them, but not important to me. Let's kick this puppy in the butt. See, so here, where normally we'd be going about 28, trying to pick our speed back up, this old girl here, she's got the giddy up go. I'm really happy. It's going to save me a lot of hassle. Because I'll tell you what, we had some spots, especially coming out of LA, where we'd be down to a crawl, and that was costing me time on deliveries, and this is going to be dandy right here. Whoa, slow her down. I'm going to have to get used to how quickly it picks up speed, though. I'm going to get me a ticket, sure as shooting. I'm glad that they added in this red indicator, because it's already saved my butt, I think, probably 4 times just in the little bit that I've been playing. But I've been looking at some of the mods, and by golly, there are some really interesting mods out already for this game. The modding community has really been active. There's things to change, you know, your experience point levels, you know, to get experience faster or get bigger loans from the bank and stuff like that. But there's one mod. It's a coast-to-coast trucking mod, and by golly, I'm mighty tempted. I'd love to be making some runs back into my old stomping grounds, places I've spent many years, you know. And I bet you the money would be mighty good too. It'd be some damn long runs. But I think it could be an absolute hoot, jumping in and running cross country, and you know, making a run to Milwaukee or Minneapolis, St. Paul. Make some runs up into the Upper Peninsula if they got such a thing going on. Chicago, though Chicago would be an absolute madhouse. But you know, like the song says, I've been everywhere. Alrighty, let's slow her down, bring her on in here. I knew we were going to get way stationed because we're coming out of LA, and we got a box. But now I'm thinking awful hard about it. I'm thinking about installing some of the mods, installing the cross-country mod. There's a mod to add some other vehicles like Greyhound buses and delivery trucks. Hell, there's even mods where you can, you know, get yourself a car and drive in a car, which would be kind of interesting. I don't know. I suppose if you had the money, you know, where you didn't have to worry about making runs for money, you could jump in a car and drive from point A to point B, you know. Oh, here he comes to give us cancer. Spray us with the pesticides. But I envy that feller. I wanted to fly. You know, from the time I was a little bitty fella, I wanted to fly. My dad was Air Force. You know, and by the time I was born, he was out of the Air Force. But, man, he was always drawing airplanes and building models of airplanes and talking about airplanes. Boy, he was just airplane nuts, especially any of the World War II fighters. He was just crazy about that stuff, and I guess I kind of caught that bug when I was young. So I used to build a lot of models. In fact, first time I ever got in trouble with the law, as a matter of fact, was over a model airplane. I was probably 11, 12, somewhere right in there. And I'd gone to one of the local stores, I think it was a Ben Franklin, and they had a section with models in it. and there was a model of a P51 Mustang there, and I wanted to get it, and I looked and there was no price tag on it. Well, there were models all around it, and all the other models made by the same company. It was made by Revell, and all the models of airplanes that are around it were all the same price, so I figured it was the same price. So I thought, well, I'll just pull the sticker off of one of them and stick it on this one, and I'll just take it on up there, and that way it'd be all good. And I popped the sticker off of another model and stuck it on there, and even though it was the correct price, and a store employee heard me pull that sticker off and come around the corner and saw me putting it on there, and that was changing stickers. And they grabbed me and they took me in the office, and whoa, slow down, you're about to get a ticket here. Took me in the office and frowned at me and called the little local cop, because we were in a small town in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. My pa, he was working at the Holiday Station, which was literally right across the street from the police station, and he come over and got me. Oh, he was mad. He was mad right up until I explained to him that, number one, it was the correct price, so it's not like I was trying to cheat him and you know, not pay what the model cost. And number two, that it was a P51 Mustang. Well, hell, when he found out I was trying to buy me a model of a P51, he forgave me right off the bat. And I mean, it's not like they actually ultimately charged me with anything, because once they found out that, you know, it was a pretty innocent mistake, well, you know, they decided not to press any kind of charges against me, and they mostly decided to put the fear of God in me. But I went back there the very next day, bought that model, took my time, really walked around the store, picked up lots of stuff, went around corners, walked back around, put it back when nobody's looking, really made them nervous. I know I wouldn't say I got a vengeful streak, but I was offended. I wasn't trying to break the law. I was just trying to buy me a model. Well, after I finally fiddled around long enough that they started following me around the store and frowning at me, I finally went up and bought that model. Went out the door and they stopped me and searched me, because I was a criminal now. When I didn't have anything on me, I made them apologize to me. That was certainly not my first run-in with the law. It's nothing to be proud of, but I've been on the wrong side of the fence an awful lot in my younger days. I know the inside of just about every pokey from the northern end of Minnesota to the southern end of Minnesota, getting in fist fights and carrying on. But that was mostly because I wanted to be Bruce Lee. I wanted to study martial arts, and I wanted my martial arts to be effective, so I was always looking for a fight to test what I had learned, see whether it was any good or not. Kept me a notebook, whether I won, whether I lost, if so, how it worked out. Anything I picked up that was a handy trick. And the problem is the law didn't view it as an exercise in testing my martial capacity. They viewed it as me being a troublemaking youth. And I definitely got my butt handed to me. Here and there, every once in a while I'd underestimate somebody, or they'd get the first shot in, or I'd just plain try something that didn't work. In fact, the very worst whooping I ever took, and I do mean the worst whooping I ever took, I took at the hands of a girl, Native American woman. I was up in northern Minnesota, gone up there to go hunting. I'd stopped into a little roadside bar, and there was a Native American fella, and he was going around trying to beg beers off of people. Hey, will you buy me a beer, buy me a beer, buy me a beer? And I made the mistake of buying him a beer. Well, once I bought him one beer, he must have figured that, well, I'd probably buy him another one if he put some pressure on me. He come up, started harassing me for another beer. And I told him no. That I didn't have the money to buy him another beer. That the beer I bought him was the beer I was going to buy me. And And when I finished up my beer, I was on my way. Well, he got just plain good old-fashioned unpleasant about it. Started making out like he was going to stir it up. I got up. I stepped up to him. I was ready to box, and he was ready to box too. And she jumped on me from behind. She jumped up, grabbed me by the back of my hair, on the back of my head, planted both her knees in the small of my back, and went to the ground. And boy, I literally turned right over in the air, come down, slammed my freaking head on the floor, and her boyfriend danced on me till I quit moving. Years later, I was with this young lady, and she had a little son named Bradford. Hell of a good kid. And Bradford was with me. We were going up to the north end of things, going up past Ely to take a look at the hunting territory up there. And we pulled into a little roadside tap. And this fella come up, he started stirring up trouble with me. He wasn't trying to beg beers or nothing. He's a Native American fella, but apparently he didn't like my long hair for some reason. He just had himself a chip on his shoulder about something. And I wasn't going to put up with any nonsense with Bradford with me. Hell, the kid is only 8 years old, you know. And we had just gone in there to get a burger and a soda and, you know, take a break from the road. This fella, he started getting right up on top of me, leaning over me in the booth. And I stood up and pushed him back, and he reared back like he was going to do something. Well, I already knew what was coming. I spun around and went kablam, laid his girlfriend out on the floor. I grabbed Bradford by the arm, run the hell out the door. We jumped in the car, and away we went. And he said, "Why did you hit that lady?" And I told him the story. I made very clear to him exactly why I hit that lady. Because I knew exactly what she was about to do. She was slipping up in my blind spot. She was going to back her man up. And I'd learned my lesson. And you may judge me as being a insufficient human being because I punched out a Native American woman. But I also made damn sure that I didn't get the crap stomped out of me with poor Bradford there, not only to watch me get the shit stomped out of me, but then be sitting there trying to figure out what to do with himself while the whole situation got sorted out. He was a good kid. He was a funny little kid. When he was little bitty, when he was about 3. Now he couldn't have been 3 because he was still in diapers. So I guess maybe he wasn't even quite 2 yet. But he was just crazy about Coca-Cola. He was just crazy about Coca-Cola. And I was trying to sneak in the fridge and steal him a Coke. And he'd go off in the corner and he'd drink that Coke as fast as he could so he didn't get caught. But everywhere he went, his little diaper was always swishing. So we could always tell right where he was. And we'd hear him swish, 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 swish. And then you'd hear the refrigerator door open. Clink. Go, Bradford, get out of the refrigerator. Boy, he thought we had magic powers. He could not figure out how in the world we knew where he was all the time. Oh, look at this truck. Boy, we'd be down to 18 miles an hour in Honey Mark 1. Oop, turn off my blinker here. I mean, we'd be 19 miles an hour. And we're pulling 33, and hell, we'll start accelerating here soon. Just shield downshift and start doing what it's supposed to do. Yep, there we go, picking up the speed. By golly, I'm mighty happy with our new truck. Mighty happy. One of these days I'll be far enough ahead. I'll drop the $8,000 to get us a fancy 3-tone, you know, paint job on it. I think I showed you guys in a previous episode what paint job I'd get, but I don't recall, quite frankly. There we go. We're running a little bit over, but that's all right. We're just going to pick up a little time here because we lost a little time coming up that hill. I'm mighty happy. And I don't need the sleeper because I got the fatigue feature turned off. Now probably what I will do is eventually I will buy the level 10 truck that's got the sleeper and pass this truck on to an employee, because we're going to take on another employee here sometime real soon. We just got to get far enough ahead paying off our debts that we can pick up a new truck. And we'll pass this one along probably to the lady we got working for us right now. And we'll pick up a basic level Kenworth to bring on a second employee. Now we can do 80 miles an hour through here. And once we're through these tight turns, I just may open her up, see what this old truck can do. Because we couldn't get above about 68 with our previous truck. We're gonna take this next tight curve here. And once we're clear of that, I think we're gonna see about blowing the carbon out of the pipes. But I can say, you know, I've loved the work that I've done in my life. I really enjoyed being a tattoo artist. You know, I'd do tattoo work, and then I'd guide hunts, you know, like 3 days a month. I'd go up and take me a nice long weekend, guide a hunt, make some money doing it, catch some good fish, whatever. I enjoyed being a tattoo artist. I enjoyed being a hunting guide. I did not enjoy being a bodyguard. I thought it would be just the ideal job for me, you know, with the way that I enjoyed fighting and the way that I studied martial arts and everything. I figured that being a bodyguard would just be excitement and wonder and see the world and hang out with interesting people and just, oh, it was going to be amazing. It ended up being the most boring, aggravating, piss poor job I have ever worked. Hell, I worked in a convenience store, and it wasn't as bad as being a bodyguard. Because basically, all you do is stand around. You can't read a book. You can't listen to the radio. You can't do anything that would take your attention off, you know, attempting to protect the individual. And of course, people are people, and they just do the things people do. So it's not like the average person is doing anything exciting. You know, it's one thing if you're a bodyguard for a rock star and you get to hang out backstage and listen to the music and hang out at the parties and talk to girls and all that. Nah, there's none of that going on. Being a bodyguard for a little Asian businessman, okay, time to drive him from point A to point B, stand around while he sits at a table for 5 hours. Speaking in Chinese, of course, so that you can't understand a word that's being said, and then driving him where he's going, and then hanging out, doing nothing. Man, it was some boring stuff, just some absolute boring stuff. I did it for, about 10 months. Made some good money. The money was very good, but just not as interesting or exciting as a person would think. And I've had a couple of just real simple, ordinary jobs that I've found to be some of the funnest jobs I ever worked. Spent time working at a St. Vincent de Paul store, at a secondhand store. Whoa, slow her down. Spent time working at a St. Vincent de Paul, and that was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it because I love going to secondhand stores and, you know, Salvation Armies and St. Vincent de Paul and just all that kind of stuff. Hunting for something interesting, hunting for treasure, you know. And stuff would come in, and once it went out on the floor, it was up for grabs. And we were allowed to shop on our breaks. So a lot of times something really interesting would come in and get priced up and go out on the floor, and I'd luck out. I'd get out there, and by golly, it'd still be there. The other thing is there were certain items that we get in that, you know, we weren't actually allowed to take, and they'd end up being, you know, in a box with a bunch of other stuff or whatever. So I came up with a couple of really nice swords that we couldn't sell because the St. Vincent de Paul rule said couldn't sell any weapons, so no pistols, no swords. Now we're gonna have Blue Bunny was awesome because every time they do a run of ice cream, they need to check the quality, and so they'd pull a bunch of them off the line to check the quality, and the extras from that, as well as any overrun that they did, would go into the break room, right into a freezer in there. So I ate ice cream on every break. Well, where the hell are we going here? I changed my view here. I think I may have just missed my turn. Yep, I sure did. Oh, okay, we can make her. We can make her. That's good. And you'll find if you roll up and basically you put your, that's not what I'm after though. You roll up and you put that white line right across the bottom of your round mirror, your bottom mirror on your left side. It'll stop you right dead on the line. Great way to measure it up, at least on this particular type of Kenworth. But by golly, we're there. And we come in a little bit later than I would have liked to. But not too bad. But you can see that round mirror there. See how the line is running across the center of the round mirror. We come up just short of the line. Furniture to Wally World. Parking at Wally World can really be a bastard. We're going to see. Get on up here so I can see what I'm doing. Excuse me. All right. It says, whew, this is going to be fun. Yowza. All right, well, we're going to give her a go because I really want to catch the extra experience points. There's no way to swing around from the other end of things. Lordy, this is going to be an adventure. Or where would we just pull her in? Right there, huh? No guts, no glory. Let's do her. No guts, no glory. But these Walbert stores are definitely not big truck friendly, that's for sure. Biggest question is whether or not we got another vehicle that's dropped a trailer, you know, right next to it. If we don't have trailers, we got to get around. It won't be too bad. Oh, nope, it's wide open. Alrighty, well, let's do it to it. Oh no, I guess there are. Son of a gun. We're gonna come right on up here. We're gonna stop her, we're gonna cut the wheel. Keep that wheel cut. Steer ourselves over in this corner, hopefully get it straightened out. I doubt we'll have enough room to get straight, but we're gonna get close. By golly, just made it. Crank her this way. Well, you know what? Let's see if we can creep forward just a little bit further here. Keep from taking these pallets out. There we go. That's as far as we're going to get out of it. Right, like so. We're sliding that pallet along. There we go. That's interesting. I didn't know the pallets moved. We should be able to get her straight. It's going to be an adventure. We're going to get her, by gum. It's a matter of getting it cut in there where we can get straightened out. And swing her, and once we got her swung as much as we can, we're going to straighten the wheel so it keeps swinging. We're going to see if we can arch her right around. Now we got to cut her like this. Hopefully we can keep swinging her, because all we got to do is get around to the correct angle here. There we go. We got her now. We should have her now. So, a little insight into parking, if you guys are not familiar. So basically, if I want to, facing this way, looking from the front of the truck towards the back, if I want the tail end of the truck to swing to the left, well, I crank my steering wheel all the way to the left, and I start to roll. And when I get it at the angle that I want it to travel, then I'd straighten out my wheels, and she'll keep on turning. See, I straighten out my wheels, she'll keep on turning. If I need it to cut even sharper, well, then we continue with the cut. But we're not quite where I want to be here, so we're gonna stop. We're gonna do her a little bit different here. Need to be a little more this way. And get her straightened out right at the end here. There we go. That ought to be pretty all right. And it's looking a bit more like what we're looking for. Now she's turning at about the angle I want her to turn, so I straighten my wheels, and that'll keep her turning like that. If it looks like we got to cut it tighter, then we'll, crank that wheel to the left again. But this should be pretty good. And crank those wheels hard left, so you should turn her a bit tighter. Straighten them wheels out, it'll keep turning at that angle. And as soon as we need to start thinking about straightening it out, we just bring the wheels back the other way, and that'll start to straighten her out. But I don't want to straighten her out yet. We want to get to about 20 degrees. There we are. And now, take her real easy. Start straightening them wheels out. And we're going to be able to get her fairly close. I may have to pull forward and back up again. It depends on whether I can get my cut soon enough to straighten her out in there. Oh, looks like I'm gonna. By golly. Once we get her straight, then I can just pull up. See, I straighten my wheels now, and she'll keep turning at the same pace. Alright. Now I should be able to straighten it out. And just back right on in. Let's pause and take a look at how we're lined up now. We're looking pretty good. We'll need to bring her a little bit to the right. So when we start backing, I got my wheels cut all the way to the side that I need to go. Give her a little gas. Straighten them out so it keeps on turning. Now just swing her back. She should straighten out and be in the box. Alright. Like so. Get ourselves straightened out and we should be good. There we are. Alright. We done did it. There we go. 11,000. Got the 90 extra experience points. Pushing us good towards level 12. As long as we're here, we're just gonna take a look at the job market, see if there's anything coming out of Reno. That's the closest. Well, 13,000 going from Reno to Barstow for Agile Cargo. Alright, well, I think I'm gonna hook up and haul these cars, because I don't think there's anything else real close. Let's see if there's anything coming out of Truckee that's good. Nope. Because the fairway's out. Offer expires in 24 hours. Alright, I am headed to Winnemucca, I should say. And I'm going to take this run because that's 20 grand. And I can't piss away a 20 grand route like that. Gonna set my GPS and head that direction. I'll see you guys in the next one. I'm out. Thank you, good buddies. I'll catch you on the flip flop. I'm gone 10-7. I'm out.